It brings me back to the book in the Bible, the book of Job. You see, the Bible has all of our answers. And here's another reason why it does, or another example. In the book of Job, the Bible talks about a man named Job. Job was considered a righteous man. He was looked at highly in the eyes of God. The devil was looking around and see who he can torment and torture. And he sat in the presence of God and God said, where you been? He said, I've been up and down the earth looking for who I can devour. God automatically says, have you considered my servant Job? Job was a God-fearing man, one that God loved. Job loved God and he hated evil. And God had his hedge around him, his hedge of protection. Job was rich with family, with wealth. He had everything a man could desire because of his relationship with God. The devil told God, well, you got that hedge around Job, but if you take that hedge from around him, I'll make him curse you. So to make the long story short, God says, well, go ahead. Do anything you want to do. Just don't touch his, don't take his life. So God removes the hedge of protection from around Job. And the devil begins to put him in an uncomfortable place. He takes his children. He takes his livelihood. He takes his wealth. He takes everything from him. And now Job, who once had all these things and he loved the relationship he had with God and knew it was coming from God, he lost it all. He's put in an uncomfortable place from being in a comfortable place. And as the story goes on, Job doesn't curse God, but he is in an uncomfortable place and he doesn't know why. The devil goes back to God and says, listen, if you let me touch his body, I know I can make him curse you. So God says, well, go ahead and touch his body, but just don't take his life. So the devil goes back to tormenting Job. And he brings boils from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. He brings sickness and disease on Job. And Job's wife even turned her back on him. She said, you need to just curse God and die. But now listen to this. Through all the torment, through all of the uncomfortable things that were presented to Job, he never cursed God, but he did despise his own birth. He wished he was never born. When he gets to the breaking point, when he gets to that breaking point where he can't take any more, God steps in. And the way the story goes, and I'm going to go ahead and make it short for the time of the video, but the way the story goes, when God steps in, he reassures Job. He brings Job back to his position of confidence. And Job now understands why he had to go through what he went through. He says, I used to hear you. Now I see you. So he had to go through an uncomfortable position to learn something of value concerning God, of greater value than he already had. Because he had everything. He thought he did. But God allowed him to go through certain things, to trust him through it, an uncomfortable position, to learn from it. He learned God at a greater place than he had before he had to go through the uncomfortable things in his life. Now that's in the book of Job, y'all. And I suggest that you go and read the book and see what it says, but it equates to our lives today. As men and women, we go through uncomfortable positions with people, situations, all kind of things, whatever it may be. But you can learn from it. You see, that's what that concept of uncomfortable learning is all about. Some of us has been broken in the past by relatives, by loved ones, by so-called friends, and we were put in uncomfortable places. Sometimes we didn't handle it adequately. We did the knee-jerk reaction. We responded with our feelings and our emotions. So when you do that, you can't really learn with everything from it. And we're all guilty of doing it. But when we take the position, like Job did in the Bible, No matter what he went through, he never cursed God. He doubted his own existence. It almost seemed like he was becoming suicidal until God stepped in. You see, it's just like with us. Sometimes when we go through these situations that we have to go through, God just wants us to stand. Sometimes we stand and get the understanding of the individual we're dealing with to make the right decision. To either depart, to change, but most importantly, to evaluate self so you can learn about the situation better. Be a kind of learner, an uncomfortable learner. Being in an uncomfortable place and learning from it. Dealing with opposition adequately. Dealing with the opposing thought process in a way where it does not bring the emotional part of you out to where you can't see anything but your own ways. You can't see anything but what you believe to be true. I have to give credit and a salute once again to Zachary Woods and those students on that campus at Williams College in Massachusetts for coming with the concept of uncomfortable learning, because it represents each and every real man and real woman today. Situations we go through with our family, they're uncomfortable. There's conditions. Some of us have to deal with parents who were mentally ill and grew up with that and had to learn how to love them from an uncomfortable position, whether it's mother or father. You see, these are real issues, and that's what we deal with here at the Real Man Movement. We deal with reality from every angle, the things that no one wants to talk about. It's not all roses and rainbows every day. Sometimes it's thunderstorms, hurricanes, and tornadoes. But we still have to live and stand as real men and real women.